Now I know I sound a little old school, but I came up at a time that people sang about love, even in the world. And I have to explain this to the younger people because you came up at a time that they just sing about sex. But let's not get sex and love confused. Or you're gonna lead a very empty and frustrating life trying to scratch a love itch with a sex utensil. That old sex utensil is too short to reach that love itch.
This is the potter's touch.
Now we're into this love thing we've been talking about, and it really started transforming our church, and I pray that it will bless you in a special way. This series is called The Love Letter, and this is the title message. You will want to follow this one really closely as we share the title message, The Love Letter. When I told you to read Philemon, you kind of gasped. Philemon is not discussed much, not preached, not taught on, not talked about. It is one of the unique Pauline epistles, the shortest one in the New Testament. People have overlooked it for years, thinking that it had no value because unlike Ephesians or Hebrews or Romans, written to bodies of believers, Philemon is a personal letter penned by an old man in a cold, dank cell, perhaps in Rome, scribbling on paper, on papyrus, to send a note to his son in the faith, Philemon, to receive a character named Onesimus. Now, Philemon is a son to Paul, much like Timothy was, but Timothy gets the spotlight. Philemon doesn't get a lot of light. Philemon was a son of Paul's that we don't hear a whole lot about, but Paul thought enough in his old age to write to Philemon. But he doesn't write to Philemon about Philemon. He writes to Philemon about another son, a new son that has been begotten in his old age. The new son's name is Onesimus. The irony is that Philemon is a slave owner and Onesimus is a runaway slave. Now we kind of know why we haven't heard a lot about it. Philemon is a slave owner and Onesimus is a runaway slave. Now, if you look at it with your Western mind and your American history, you're going to miss the greater point. Philemon is a slave owner because it shows in their culture a symbol of wealth. When you were wealthy, when you were accomplished, you could afford to have servants and slaves that served you. So Philemon is not a lower classman. He's an upper class individual that has come to Christ by faith and accepted him and believed on him through the ministry of Paul. Paul had the kind of ministry that reached high and low. Isn't it amazing that Paul's arms were long enough to reach a Philemon who was wealthy and an Onesimus who is a runaway slave? Real good ministry. Real good ministry can reach just as far high as it can low and maintain the same integrity going one way as it can the other. Real good ministry is not relegated to the hood. Real good ministry will work just as well in Beverly Hills as it will in Watts. Real good ministry will preach just as effectively on Preston Road as it will over in South Dallas. Real good ministry reaches all types of people from all walks of life with the same integrity. Real good ministry will do that. Philemon has no real doctrinal value. It does not set up the order of the church. It doesn't deal with deacons or elders. It doesn't deal with immoralities and things like that. It doesn't deal with things that have been profitable to preach. It's just a simple, quick letter written by the shaky hand, the trembling hand of an old man who resists arthritis long enough to pen a few words because he thought it was important to stand in a position and officiate for this runaway slave. The Bible is unclear as to how a guy like Onesimus would run into Paul, saying that Paul is a prisoner. Now look, I want to set this up for a minute. You got a prisoner who is incarcerated outwardly, but free inwardly, writing to a slave owner, trying to get the slave owner to receive a runaway slave. Each man is in some way incarcerated, and each man is in some way liberated. Paul is bound on the outside, but he's free on the inside. And he's writing to Philemon to say, Onesimus, by all rights, is your slave. You paid the price for him. He didn't treat you good. He didn't serve out his time. He ran away. But I want you to receive him back because he ran away from you, but ran into me. And in the process of him running into me, I converted him. And Onesimus, who was your slave, is now my son. Now, Philemon, this puts you in a dilemma because if Onesimus is my son, then he is your brother. And if he is your brother, he can't be your slave. Hallelujah. Touch somebody and say, Onesimus is a runaway slave. Yeah, you know what it is to be a runaway slave. You're running away from something and can't deal with it anymore. And you might not admit it, but all of us in here have been a runaway. Oh, no, don't get ethnic on me. You don't have to be black to be a runaway slave. Anytime you're running away from how you have been defined, anytime you're running away from how folks saw you, anytime you're running away from the limited perspective people had on your life, anytime you refuse to be bound and you got to get away from a trap, you've been a runaway slave, been on a run. Some of y'all running right now. Running from the limited way people view you, running from your past, running from your background, running from who you used to be, running from what people think about you. Some of you are on the run right now. Onesimus was a runaway slave. He ran up on Paul and got liberated. Now he is liberated on the inside, but he's still on the run on the outside. And if you're a runaway slave, you lived in danger of being destroyed. Paul, who can't get out of prison, is writing a letter so that somebody who is out can be free. I'm gonna work on this till you get it. And he writes to Philemon, and he writes a letter, and he says to him, he says, Philemon, I believe that Onesimus is more profitable to you now than he was before. And if you have the grace to forgive him and receive him back as your brother, he says, then everything is going to be all right. And he says, I know he didn't treat you right. I know you didn't get your value out, and you didn't, the transaction hadn't been ratified, and I know he might have done something to you. The Bible doesn't say what he did, but he might have, you know, when you run, you generally take something on your way out. And there's no violation. You haven't been violated till somebody steals from you. That's a feeling. I tell you, it's a feeling all by itself. When somebody steals from you, and he says, but Paul says, now I know you might not want to forgive him because he's done some injustices to you. He said, but just take him back, and if he owes you anything, put it on my account. If you want to hold on to the debt, you can hold on to it. He said, but just move it from his column over to mine. And he says, you know I'm good for it. I'll pay you when I return. Oh, you waking up with me now. You're about to catch on to me now. He says, I'll pay you when I get back. He said, but by the way, he said, you know you owe me everything. He said, I'm writing you this little love letter because I'm about to send Onesimus to you, and I want to test you to see if you're big enough to receive somebody you've been angry with. Because I'm suggesting to you that you're going to need him. And the only way you can receive him is if you're big enough to get over what you were mad about so that he can bring you into how God wants to use him in your life. So I'm writing you this love letter. This problem between Philemon and Onesimus is a test. Yeah, it's a test. Sometimes God will test you with people. When you're asking him for mercy and asking him for second chances and asking him for grace, sometimes God will test you with somebody who's asking you for mercy and asking you for grace just to see if you're big enough to sow something so you can reap something. Oh, y'all don't hear what I'm saying.
Still to come on The Potter's Touch.
I'm a runaway. I'm a runaway from where I started. I'm a runaway from what I've been through. I'm a runaway from how they limited me. I'm a runaway from abuse. I'm a runaway. Ain't got time to play. Steal away. Ain't got long to stay here on the move. I'm a runaway. The Bible said, no greater love have any man than this, that he would lay down his life for his friend. I can tell you now, honestly and openly, that love is expensive. It will cost you something to do it. It may even cost everything to give it. But when it returns, it comes back pressed down, shaken together, and running over. It's a hard test to pass, but it's worth taking it because you cannot graduate from life without it. Touch your neighbor, say, Onesimus is coming. I prophesied to you today, Onesimus is coming. Somebody who did you wrong, Onesimus is coming. Somebody that you have every right to be angry with, Onesimus is coming. Oh, you don't want to hear about this morning, but I'm gonna crack this egg right in your skillet. Onesimus is coming to see if you've grown any, if you've developed any, if you've learned anything, if you've grown in any way. Onesimus is coming to see if you're still petty and if you're still small and if you haven't grown enough to enter into the arena that God wants to put you in. Onesimus is coming to see if you've learned anything from all the teaching that you've been getting. Onesimus has got to come. Yeah. He says, I want to see if you can receive Onesimus as a brother. I want to see if your perspectives have grown to the degree that you can receive somebody that you defined in one light. Can you now see them in another light? I want to see if you can receive the new and improved version of Onesimus. I want to see if you will hold Onesimus hostage to how you used to define him, or have you grown enough to receive him as he is rather than how he used to be. I know how he used to be. He was useless to you before. But I wonder if you will give Onesimus the same thing that you need, a chance to change. I wonder if you can buy into the growth in Onesimus. He said, I know that he was useless to you before, but he is useful now. Now Paul is being smart. Remember, Paul is an intellect. And when he writes his love letter, he writes it from the unique perspective of playing on words here, because what you don't know is Onesimus' name is useful. Onesimus literally translated means I'm useful. I'm useful. But his use had been limited to servitude. Onesimus could not reach his destiny with Philemon because Philemon only saw him as a slave. Sometimes you can't reach your destiny with people who limit you to how they met you. Oh, y'all ain't gonna talk to me. Y'all not gonna say nothing to me. Once people see you from a particular perspective, they will hold you hostage to how they met you, and they won't let you grow, and you can't reach your destiny because what they heard about you, or what they thought about you, or what they saw you do at one season in your life. Onesimus was useful, but he could not find his use or his purpose with Philemon, because Philemon saw his usefulness only through the parameters of how he met him. He couldn't unlock his destiny because he was in love with his history. People who lock into you based on who you used to be seldom can unlock your destiny. And sometimes you have to get away from where you came from. Oh, y'all aren't gonna say nothing to me. I have noticed throughout my life that people who knew me when will always kind of get an attitude over who I am now, and they'll say, you forgot where you came from. No, I didn't forget, but I sure do wish you would. Touch three people and say, run away, run away, run away. Run away, run away, run away. Run away from anybody who wants to hold you down to a childhood decision. Run away from anybody who wants to lock you down to how they met you. Run away from anybody who wants to live your life out as a slave. Slavery is not real use, it's abuse. And most useful people have been abused before used. Yeah. Because when you're useful, you have a giving heart. And when you have a giving heart, people will take advantage of you and they will abuse you. Yeah. We're gonna get into this Philemon thing this morning. They will abuse you. And from all of this, Onesimus ran away. If you've ever had to run away from somebody who didn't get who you really were, tell somebody and say, I'm a runaway. I'm a runaway. I'm a runaway from where I started. I'm a runaway from what I've been through. I'm a runaway from how they limited me. I'm a runaway from abuse. I'm a runaway. Ain't got time to play, steal away. Ain't got long to stay here on the move. I'm a runaway. Paul now puts Philemon in a jam. There is no way that Philemon would receive Onesimus on his own. There's no way that Philemon would receive Onesimus had he just walked in the house. There's no way in the world that Philemon would have received Onesimus at all if it weren't for a love letter from Paul. Now he's in a predicament because the person that he's angry with is coming to him through the vehicle of the person that he loves. If he does not take Onesimus back, he jeopardizes his relationship with Paul. Oh, y'all don't hear what I'm saying. See, sometimes you need somebody else to speak for you other than you. Onesimus has no favor with Philemon, but Paul does. And sometimes God will give you favor with somebody who has favor with somebody you don't have favor with, to put them in a predicament. If Onesimus would have come to Philemon without the love letter, then Philemon could have killed Onesimus. The only thing standing between Onesimus and death was a love letter. Oh, you didn't get that. The only thing standing between Onesimus and death was a love letter from Paul. Now, Paul leverages who he is as a spiritual father, and he writes to Philemon, his son in the faith. He says, son, Daddy's had another baby. And incidentally, the new kid on the block is your old slave, Onesimus. He said, I started to keep him myself because I fell in love with him and he's my son, and I found him to be profitable to me. He's useful to me. I'm not sending him back to you because he's useless. I'm sending him back because he is useful to you. Some theologians suggest that the book of Philemon is only included in the canonical scriptures because Philemon became, the book of Philemon became a work that Onesimus includes, because Onesimus becomes a penman for the Apostle Paul and becomes useful. Others suggest that it goes even deeper than that Philemon becomes an apostle and does a great work, and Onesimus ends up pastoring Timothy's old church and becomes the bishop over the church at Ephesus. And he started out a slave. I want you to understand this morning that it doesn't matter where you start. It matters where you finish. You might not have had a real good start, but that don't mean you can't have a happy ending. That's what I love about a good old love story, is that it always has a happy ending. I want to talk to somebody who had a rough start, but you expect a happy ending. I want to send you this little love letter. You didn't start so well, baby. but you go in good.
Hey, hang in there. Don't move. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in just a minute.
If he commands me to do it, it must be within my power to accomplish it. Because it wouldn't be just to command me to do something that I cannot do. So that means that love is controllable. I give up everything to follow you. Wouldn't give up a ham sandwich at 11 o'clock at night. Imagine how your personal relationships would change if you loved the people in your life like you love yourself. The reality is we always want to get more than we're willing to give. So this second scripture obliterates selfishness. It's not what we did yesterday that's messing us up, it's that you won't grow with me.
Receive the Love Letter, 4 passionate messages on CD or DVD, and learn how to love God, others, and yourself better than you ever thought possible. Just visit our website or call 1-800-BISHOP2 today. Be lifted up from tragedy to testimony.
It's not in the place, baby. It's on the way. We're praying about the destination, but God is planning for the journey.
Be lifted up by the power of expectation.
Where you get in a mundane rut of low expectations. Ordinariness is the enemy of miracles.
Be lifted up by calling on the name of Jesus.
You don't need any more money. You need a miracle. God's getting ready to lift your entire situation.
For helping us reach others with your gift of $75 or more, you will receive Lift Me Up on CD, along with a coaster set with words of encouragement. Just write us, visit our website, or call 1-800-BISHOP2.
I'm tired of crying in this house. I'm gonna speak to my debt and my fear and my loneliness.
And when your gift is $150 or more, we will include Bishop Jake's book, God Longs to Heal You, helping you free your mind, body, and spirit. Be lifted up today.
What arose in America as the biggest event of its kind is back. And now the stage is set.
You have never seen a meeting like this.
Together again at MegaFest 2013.
We're taking over Dallas.
You're going to catch abundance. You're going to catch God's blessing.
Encouraging women.
Peacemaker is somebody who declares war on anything that disturbs their peace.
There is a principle that will cause a shift in your situation.
If he can deliver me, he can deliver you.
Equipping men.
We have more fear in running out than we do faith in running over.
Everywhere my foot treads, claim dominion over it and take it back for the kingdom.
This is going to be big.
Elevated to walk in that destination.
Meet us in Dallas, Texas, August 29th through 31st. Register at mega-fest.com or call 1-800-BISHOP2 today.
We do it big in Texas.
And I'm out of time. I've got to stop there, but it's been a real joy and a real delight to share the word of the Lord with you. This thing about love, it's really important. If we don't get a better grip on it, our churches are splitting, our marriages are falling apart, our homes are collapsing for the lack of love. Think about it and have a great week.